What is up, everyone? It's that time again. You're listening to It's Been a Week. I'm your host, Ben McDonald, and this is your weekly dose of whatever the hell just happened. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to It's Been a Week. So this week, I'm by myself, and we're going to talk about something that I feel like it doesn't get talked about a lot. And what I'm talking about is rejection. And, I think rejection is something every single person goes through at some point in your life, whether that is, as an actor, not getting called back. It can be within your friend group, it can be within relationships, your family, it can be yourself, it can be jobs, it can be, all sorts of different things. And it's not always like so obvious, right? Rejection sometimes can come super simple, like just not receiving a text back or being ghosted, or just like when friend groups kind of ice someone out and they just kind of slowly phase someone out, or rejection can just come in so many different forms. And this week I definitely felt it. I definitely felt rejection. And I think too, I've said this before, social media is such a highlight reel, right? We all post our best things on social media, and I'm guilty of, when I say all, I'm including myself. We post the highlights, you post the good things, which I get. That's kind of what it is. And then you do see some people who get super, emotional, or they get vulnerable, or they start crying on there, and it can be read like, oh, you feel sorry for them, or it's like, oh, cringe, like, oh, emotion, what? So this week, I definitely, and I like to consider myself pretty good at rejection, because I, being an actor, a lot of the career fields that I've chosen comes with a lot of rejection. I mean, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, why couldn't I have woke up and been like, oh, I want to be an accountant, or I want to be a hairstylist, or why couldn't I pick a career that was like not easy, but like, you can do it. It's attainable. You can go, if you want to do that, you can go do it. I pick career choices that are so fucking hard, that requires so much, luck and talent. Not that those other ones don't require talent, but what I'm saying is, to be an actor, or to have to be an actor, or to have a successful podcast, or all these things, it's so competitive. It is so tough, right? So this week in particular, like, I really set my expectations high. I had these super high expectations. And I should know better than this, right? I've been in this business long enough. I know how this shit goes, but I really set my expectations. I was losing sleep over excitement. And it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. And I know that I can't take that super like personal, but I know that that's also a really cliche thing to say. And it's also really easy to be like, don't take it personal. But it's like, well, how the fuck do you not take things personal? And now, am I like, before we get into this, and I want to preface this, I am no expert in rejection, and nor do I have it figured out. But I have gone through a lot of it, and I have experienced a lot of it, and I have learned through experience certain ways to move past it. And I do think it's something to talk about, because everyone experiences rejection. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care what life you're born into or not born into. At some point in our life, every person experiences rejection, and it hurts. It's not fun. Rejection is not a fun feeling to go through. Can we agree on that? I definitely have had those moments where I like, when you leave a conversation and you question what you said, like, should I have said that? Or you send an email and you keep rereading your email, or you keep refreshing your inbox, to see if someone responds. I think we've all done those things. We all have those moments where it's like you replay scenarios in your head, and you're the only one thinking about it. No one else is thinking about that again, except for you are spiraling in your head. But this week, like I said, I really built this up. I was so excited. I had these really big meetings. And they were amazing. I know there's different perspectives to look at this and different ways to look at this. And I should look at this as like, I met with some top people there's people that would never even get the opportunity to take these meetings, or even be on these people's radar, or all the things, right? But there was this part of it was like I built this up in my head, and I was like, this is a done deal. Like, let's sign the dotted line. Where is this all going? And then after having the conversation, we ended the meeting, and I just remember feeling like I failed. And I was like, where did I go wrong? Like, what did I kept replaying this in my head, and I'm like, should I have said this? Should I have said that? Did I talk too much? Did I not talk enough? Did I say the wrong thing? It just, you start to beat yourself up about these things, because rejection is being told no, or being out to feel like you're not good enough, or feeling like you're the problem. And really, it's not you that's the problem. It's you, but you start to think that way, right? And I think rejection, for me personally, when I look back on my life, it started at such a young age. I think, first of all, trying to navigate being different, which being gay, and not knowing, knowing that I was different, that I was not the same as everyone else, and you're trying to figure that out. So I think rejection actually first started with self-rejection, rejecting yourself. And I spent years trying to mask being gay. I spent years trying to be someone I'm not. I spent years trying to, like certain things or not like certain things. Like, I remember when I was younger, I loved the show Desperate Housewives. Still to this day, actually, I love it. And I'll never forget, there was a time in school when, when I would talk about Desperate Housewives, and then they were like, oh, I started to get not made, no, it was made fun of. I guess I started to get made fun of for being gay because I like Desperate Housewives. So I remember I went home and I forced myself to no longer watch this show, because if you watch Desperate Housewives, then you're gay. So I was like, I literally cut myself off from this show, which luckily I came around from that a few years later, and I got to go rewatch it all, because, like, what a phenomenal show. But how sad is that I was being, in school, being kind of rejected, and being like, we're what? To then making me reject myself, which I think is where it started at a really young age. I also remember my stepdad. I'll never forget this conversation ever. I was little. And this was before iPhones. I think this might have even been before Blackberries. This was when, like, the first, like, PDA type cell phone came out. Like, I don't even think smartphone was a thing at that point, but it was like a phone with a stylus, and it was like kind of touchscreen, but not really. And I just thought that phone was the coolest thing. I was like, that is so cool. And I remember I was sitting in the car with my stepdad, and I remember I was like, oh God, I want to get that phone. And he goes, like, why would you need this? It's like a business phone. Like, you're 8. And I was like, oh, I'll be that. I want that phone. He goes, and that, because I said, then I can be just like you. And I'll never forget. He turned in the car and looked at me, and he goes, you will never be like me. And that stuck with me for well, obviously it still did. I'm talking about it right now. But that, I think, was also these forms of rejection. And, rejection, it can hit you in so many different fucking ways. Luckily, I can't say I've had too much rejection when it comes to relationships. And I know that sounds cocky and arrogant, but I just have not personally dealt with that. But I know that that's a thing for a lot of people. But there was one person, because I have pretty much every person I've ever dated, I broke up with them except for one. There was one that broke up with me, and I remember that was a mind fuck, because I was like, wait, what? You're breaking up with me? That's not how this works. And I remember that being rejected in that way, because then it really is not your choice either. You're like, whoa, what? Because when you break up with someone, it still sucks and it's hard, but it's so much easier when you're the one in control. When the other person breaks up with you, holy shit, whole new bag of worms there. But I think people can deal with, there's different forms of rejection, right? So, relationship rejection, I think, is probably one of the more common ones. There's times all the time people ask someone out and they say no, or they ask someone out or they go on a date and they get ghosted, or they break up, and that sucks. But it is, I guess, a part of life. And for me, I think for me, being an actor, people have no idea how much work and time and energy you put into it. People see when I book a commercial. People see when I post something that I'm getting to do. But people, like, this week alone, I've done 6 auditions. 6 auditions for TV shows, movies, commercials, all sorts of shit. And when you do these auditions, it's not like, do your audition. Okay, that took 5 minutes. It's like you need to figure out who this character is. You need to, you print out your sides, which is like your audition, your script, and you need to analyze this. Like, who is this person? What is this person? What does this person feel and want? And you have to become this character. And then you have to memorize your lines, and you have to, figure out what you're going to wear, and you have to have someone do the audition with you. There's so much that goes into it. And then you send these auditions off, and you never hear a no. There is no. You never get a phone call being like, hey, so unfortunately we're going to pass, or hey, this is what we liked about it, but we're going to go in a different direction. You just get radio silence. So you don't hear anything. So you send your audition off and you hope for the best. So I think that, there's certain people that want to go into this acting business and the entertainment business. And it's like, I always tell people, I will never tell anyone not to go after your dreams. Like if you have that in you, you want to do it, fucking go for it. But you have to be so good and have thick skin where you put your heart and soul into something, you send it off and you forget about it, because you're not going to get the answer you want all the time. Most of the time, you're not going to get an answer. You send it. There's sometimes you'll have a role and you're like, this is so perfect. I am so this role. This is so like, and I think that can apply to people with jobs too. Like when you're applying for, a career job, people put their heart and soul into that. You have to put work into your resume and your cover letter and sending things off. And you hope you can at least just get a fucking interview, right? Like just give me a chance. And there's so many times where you don't even get a response. And that kind of rejection, I think time and time again and over again, like people don't talk about that. We don't talk about the struggle, and that like we post and we celebrate when people have their wins, but we don't really talk about like the shit you have to go through to accomplish something and to get somewhere. And I think that can be in all different, you don't have to be an actor. You could be, trying to get into a school. You could be trying to get a new job. You could be trying to take someone out on a date. You could be trying to, I don't know, buy a fucking goldfish, whatever it is. There's so many times in life when it's a no, or or you don't even get a response. And at what point does that start to take a toll on you? Like, I think I'm pretty good at rejection because I've had a lot of it. I've had a lot of it from being in a young age. I've had a lot of it from, people. I've had a lot. I mean, I've dealt with it even within groups of people, with cliques, and like, even in this horse community, I'll call this shit out too. In the barrel racing world, it is so cliquey. You go to some of these races and these people are just in these cliques, and it's like, how much money do you have? How fast is your horse? And it's like, who gives a fuck? But you get these cliquey people that they just think they are next level, the best thing ever. And like for some of these horse people too, I'm like, everyone needs to just tone it down a notch. Like you're a horse rider. You're not Beyonce. Like, calm it down. But there's, cliques of all sorts of people, and that makes people feel rejected. And that even goes all the way back to school days. There's just, listen, I don't subscribe to this type of behavior because I will not engage in it. But I have adult friends, and there's friend groups, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we're icing this person out, or oh yeah, we're breaking up with this person, or we're not gonna. And I'm like, I don't play those games. And we've had someone one time, she put us in like a it's us or them type of situation, and I was like, let me tell you right now, that's not going to get you very far with me, because I'm going to go with them. The second you're putting me in some kind of ultimatum to pick between friend groups, I'm out. So I think that shit is so high school, and it is so like that if someone's annoying you or they do something wrong, call them out for it. Be like, hey, have a private conversation. Call them over. Be like, hey, you've done X, Y, and Z, and it's really pissing me off. Please don't do that. And then like have a conversation and move on from it. But to just ice someone out or like not give them an explanation, I don't subscribe to that type of behavior. But back to rejection, I think that there's people that struggle with this all the time, and people that are dealing with this, and it can put people in depressive states. It's not a good, warm feeling. And look, this week particular for me, like I said, I'm really good at rejection. I have to be, because I have to deal with it all the time. Like the amount of times that for instance, for this podcast, do you know how many guests I have to reach out to ask to be on this podcast? And I get the runaround, I get ghosted, I get left on red, I get every excuse under the book. I'll get people that just don't, I know they're seeing my messages. Like it's 2026. Everyone's connected to their phones. I know or it's on like Instagram where it literally will say seen, and they don't respond to you. And that, like, I get it. Like, whatever. For me, I'm not that person. Like, if you ask me to do something, I don't have a problem saying no. So I will come on. If you were like, hey, will you come be on my podcast and blah, blah, and I don't like you, or I don't like your podcast, or I don't stand for what you believe in, or whatever the reason may be, I have no reason to tell, or like, I'll just tell the person, like, hey, I don't know if, no, like, I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm not aligned with that, or I don't feel like doing that. And that goes down to people asking me, like, hey, do you want to come hang out and do this? And I'll be like, no, I don't. And I have no problem saying no, which I do think society needs to work on being able to say no. So, like, if you're listening and I've dropped in your DMs, or I've sent you a text asking you to be on this podcast, you don't have to, you're not going to hurt my feelings by saying no. It's actually more hurtful, I think, to ignore me. I hate being ignored. I guess that is one thing that really bothers me, is to be ignored, because I just think it's so disrespectful. Have the balls to, like, communicate what you want or don't want in life. Right? Like, I don't know why that's so hard for people. And, there's so much rejection that comes with, I think, anything in life, but especially in the entertainment business. Like I said earlier, I wish sometimes I woke up and I was like, I want to be an accountant, but I don't. I want to be an actor. I want to have a podcast. I want to be an entertainer. I like making people laugh. I enjoy attention. Hello, I'm an attention whore. I mean, I think anyone who knows me knows I fucking like attention, but that comes at a cost, right? Like, when you are the center of attention, or you're a creative, or you're putting something out there, you're setting yourself up to be rejected, because not everyone's going to like your shit. You're not for everyone. And whether that's the way you're, take photos, your acting performance, your podcast, whatever that may be, your humor. How many times have you been in a room where you tell a joke and it doesn't land? And in your mind, you thought that was the funniest shit ever. And then you tell a joke and it doesn't land. It's like, okay, ooh, like, that's right there. Boom, rejected. So it comes in all different forms. And of course, what I'm talking about today is mostly the things that I can relate to, but I know that there's people out there that can relate to it in different ways. And I know that rejection hits people differently. And some people, it puts them into a super depressed state, and it makes them feel unworthy, and it makes them feel whatever. And I think that that's normal. I think that we all feel that way. I'm just telling everyone, like, don't sit in that. Don't stay in that mindset, because it's going to eat away at you, and it's really not going to get you anywhere. And I really, it took me a while in life too to get to a point to realize you're not for everyone. Not everyone is going to like you. And that is it's actually better. Trust me, you don't want everyone to love you and everyone to like you, because that is exhausting. It's better sometimes to, like, not be everyone's flavor, and that's okay. But when you do get these moments of rejection, because like I said, this week, it was surprising to me that it affected me this way, because I'm so good at just brushing things off. I'm so good at just being like, whatever, moving on, not a big deal, on to the next. But I had some meetings this week that were, like I mentioned, they were huge. Like, they could have been life-changing for me. And again, they didn't go bad. It wasn't that it was a closed door. It's not that the meeting was like, no, this isn't happening. It just is not happening in the way I envisioned it to happen. And, sometimes it's tough. People are like, well, everything happens for a reason, and it's all about timing. And that, I take that with a grain of salt, because sometimes I'm like, sometimes I don't like that line, everything happens for a reason. But then there are times where it's like, I get what people say, what they're meaning when they say that, is that, like, things happen the way they're supposed to happen. And I do believe in that. And I do think that, for instance, if I would not have moved to Texas, I probably would not have started this podcast. I wouldn't have met so many people that I've met. There's so many things in life that would not have, unfolded the way they have. Because I always make jokes about, like, regretting moving to Texas, which, little truth behind every joke. But, so everything does have its time and its place. And, whatever these meetings that I had this week that didn't go as I wanted them to or expected them to, I do have to believe that it's for a reason. and that when it is right, it's going to happen, or it's going to unfold the way it is, or some other door is going to open up. I'm going to walk through that door and be like, holy shit, thank God that didn't happen, because then this would never have happened. And I think that people, you have to remember that when someone closes a door on you, it's just leading you to walk into a different door that's the correct door. And I know that sounds a little cliche and a little like cheesy and whatever, but I do think that when a door is, you think you're going to walk through this door and it slams in your fucking face, okay, redirect. We're just going to redirect. Because, when you look at like a map, say you're at point A and you're trying to get to point B, it's not always just a straight line. Sometimes it's a little bit of a zigzag and you have to go on little detours and you learn different lessons along the way. And, I do think if you're open to it, everything in this life that is meant for you is meant for you. Again, I know that sounds a little preachy and I know it sounds a little cheesy, but I used to take this spin teacher and she told the class, if you can see it, like when you close your eyes at night, if you can see it, like if you can see your dream, if you can picture it, if you can see it for you, it is meant for you. And she used to always say this line, which it took me a minute to realize what she was saying, but she goes, you have to see it in your brain in order to see it in real life, to be able to receive it, to get it. So again, I know that sounds preachy. I know it sounds a little like woo-woo, but think about that. If you can close your eyes and picture what you want and really picture what you want. Like I remember being a kid and I would like picture myself on a billboard. I would picture myself in magazines. I would picture myself giving speeches at the Oscar, and I haven't gotten the Oscar yet, but the other stuff I've accomplished that, right? Like I really truly believed I could do it. I would like close my eyes. I would think about it and I'm like, I can fucking do this. I'm going to do this. And I would envision it. When I was starting this podcast, I used to drive early in the morning and I was just envisioning what it's going to look like, what I'm going to talk about, what it's going to sound like, what the branding is going to be. Like I just started to really picture it and it's come true. So there is power in that. So I do want everyone that's listening, if you are at a point in your life where you're like on the cusp of something, or you're really trying to get to that next level, or you really have something in you, or you've been trying so fucking hard to get to a certain place and it's just not happening, you can't quit. You cannot quit. You cannot quit. And you cannot let the rejection stop you. Rejection, oh my God, rejection is redirection. Did I just come up with that, or someone else said that before? We might need to coin that. I don't know. Maybe someone else said that, but rejection is redirection. I fucking love that. So I'm going to have to Google that, because if that's not like a trademarked phrase, you heard it here first, everyone. Rejection is redirection. So when you're rejected, and that can come in all these different forms, you just redirect. We're just going to go, okay, hang a left, hang a right, whatever you got to go. And don't let anyone, I hate when people love to hate on other people and their dreams and what they want to fucking do. I can't tell you how many times people have said, you can't do that. You're not going to do that. Fuck you. You can do whatever the fuck you want. So don't forget that either. And one of my favorite quotes, I have two of them. Chelsea Handler, she said, I don't know if she made up this quote or if she just said it, but I like it. She was like, you don't have to blow out someone else's candle to make yours brighter. I love that. And don't let other people who gave up on their dreams talk you out of yours, because that's a big one. All the people that I hear online or that are mumbling and all the little bullshit that are the ones that like, you can't do this, you can't do that, it's stupid. I'm like, look at your life. You've given up on everything. So take that too. Do not let people talk you out of your dreams, and do not let the rejection seep into you, and don't let it, like, you can take, when rejection happens, feel it, feel the moment and let it go. Have your sad moment, be like, that fucking sucked. And then move on from it. Right. And don't ever let people tell you like you're too much, or you're too big, or you're too loud, or you're too out there. Like, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. I hate when people say that shit. Like, sorry for you're boring. I'd much rather be a little annoying and obnoxious and fun than be boring, which is the people that say that are boring. So whatever the rejection is coming in your life, because I know that it comes in all different forms, don't let it. And I guess when I'm saying this to you is I'm really saying this to myself, because I've been down in the dumps for the last couple of days. I've really been in like a little bit of a funk because it sucked. It sucks when things don't go how you want. It sucks when people tell you no and it's out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, there is something you can do about it. See, I guess this is more of a therapy session for myself. There's plenty of things you can do about it. When someone says no, what do we just say? Rejection is redirection. So when someone says no, like I kind of got this week. I mean, no, like I said, it wasn't a full no, but kind of a no. There's plenty of other ways to go. There's plenty of other routes. They're not the only people. There's not the only they're not God dictating this whole situation, you know? And if you're also, if you are one of those people that ghost people or leaves people on red, like, don't do that. No one is too busy to respond to a text message. And I'm not saying you have to respond within 2 seconds. I'm not saying you have to respond immediately, but you can respond within 1 to 2 business days. You know, I mean, there's no one, the leaders of countries respond to people on text messages. Okay. So that was there's my 2 cents on this. And I know this was a little long-winded, but I really think there's people out there that need to hear it. I know that I needed to hear it. And like I said, I think a lot of what I'm preaching and saying right now is what I need to tell myself, because rejection it's a bitch. Rejection's a bitch. And if you're feeling some sort of way, I just really want people, like, don't let it bring you down, for real. And if you need to like DM me and be like, this and this happened, you need someone to tell you to shut the fuck up and snap out of it, DM me and I'll message you back and I will say, shut the fuck up, snap out of it. Okay? Because we can all do whatever the fuck we want to do. We can all accomplish this kind of stuff. No one is going to tell you that you can't do something. And the rejection is redirection. Really, that needs to be a t-shirt. If we make that into a shirt, rejection is redirection. It's kind of like when, what did, was it Einstein or Edison or one of them was like, oh God, I'm really going to butcher this, but it was like, every failure gets you one step closer to success. Cause it's like you learned one way you learn how something doesn't work. Everyone knows the quote I'm talking about, right? Like you can do something you can do it wrong 99 times, but then it gets you closer to the right way. Whatever the fuck the quote is, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's from some old man that was smart. So don't forget that shit either. Okay. So I think our key takeaway points from this episode are: rejection is redirection. Don't let anyone tell you what not to do. Don't let anyone crush your dreams. And it's okay to feel rejection, and it's okay to have those emotions and then let it go. Sit in it, be sad for like 5 minutes and be like, that fucking sucked, and then move on. And then get the fuck over it, because it's not worth it. Okay? So that is what I'm going to leave you guys on this week. I know this was you just got Ben. I'm sure we're going to have AJ in the after show, and he'll probably have so much more to say on this, and he'll probably be so much more insightful, and he'll probably have much more in-depth shit. But this is the way I'm feeling this week. I had an episode planned, but I was like, I'm going to use that episode next week because it will work next week. And I was like, this is really what I was feeling this week. So I wanted to be honest and come on here and just be honest with how I was feeling. And I was feeling fucking rejected this week, and it sucked. And I just want people to know that everyone goes through it. Everyone, just because you don't see it on social media and just because you only see the highlight reel does not mean people aren't going through shit. Even people like me, who on social media post funny memes, or is traveling the world, or is drunk, or is having fun, or doing whatever the fuck I do with my day, I have these feelings sometimes, and the rejection, and it gets everyone. So there's my honesty. And if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Really, really didn't know how this was all going to go and what I was all going to say, but it was flowing through me. It was just kind of flowing and coming out. So I hope you guys have a great week. I'm on my way to Mexico, so I will be on the beach getting drunk, not being rejected because hola. And that's all I got for you guys. So make it a great week. Don't let anyone crush your dreams. Rejection is redirection. You fucking got this. All right, everyone. I'll see you next Tuesday.
Hey, wait. I got something to say.
You're here again? All right, let's do it. Okay, everyone, get ready for the after show. Been there, done that with AJ. Okay, we're back.
We are back. I love how enthusiastic you were that you came up with rejection is redirection.
Is that a popular thing?
Yeah, I think it's been around for quite some time.
Oh, well, I
But
didn't
I
know.
love that you're also putting it on a t-shirt as if you own it.
Well, it just came to me in the moment. I did not look that up. I mean, obviously, I probably heard it. That's what was in my subconscious brain somewhere. But
Yeah, in one of your videos when you're scrolling, someone must have said it.
right, maybe I heard it in a spin class.
Or in a spin class.
Probably
The same one where you got the information about you got to see it to
receive it.
receive it.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, listen, I think it's great that you took time to get stuff off your chest.
Listen, I know you may think I'm a cold-hearted bitch, but every once in a while, I have emotions.
I don't think that at all. And you know that.
Well,
I do think that you're a pain in the ass, but I don't think that. I love that I just looked up and rolled my eyes as I
what
said
the
it.
fuck?
I know. I don't, though. But I do think you're a pain in the ass.
Well, we're all entitled to our own opinions.
I know. But it's good. Like, it's good to show all the sides of us. And I think that's what this episode did. The thing is, like, I love when you get later in the episode and you're showing the levity. And I think that that's part of what you're trying to say to people, that like someone needs to hear this and whatever. Like, we all go through shit, all of us, no matter whatever our situation is, how happy we are, how stable we feel, how loved and cared for and seen and heard and all the things that we seek as a human. But we all go through something. Right. Like
Right.
my friend Susan, the trauma therapist that I work with a lot, she talks like everyone has trauma. And oftentimes, even if we aren't recognizing past trauma, we will have something in our life ahead of us that creates some level of that.
Right.
And I think that, my point of saying all this is that when you shared it earlier in the episode, you can feel your frustration, you can feel your sadness, you can feel these negative, depleting emotions around all of this stuff that awesomely, as you get through the episode, is that a word? Let's just make it one. If you can make rejection as to redirection your own.
If I can coin that.
By us getting through there, it's amazing to feel the shift in your energy to where you were getting to more resolve and resilience around it all, and at least getting to a place of calm. If maybe not like,
Well, I'm good now. It just, there was a few days where I was like, this fucking sucks.
But even in the episode, I think we feel that.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, maybe I need to hear this myself. Maybe
yeah, you said it's like a therapy session.
Therapy session for myself. Yeah, because it was, when you set your expectations so high and you think like, oh my God, this is it. It's a done deal. And then it just is like, whoa, wait, what?
Well, listen, I think you know how much rejection I receive, and I don't walk around the world with that energy. And I think that's partly because of exactly what I'm saying. I do take time to process it and try to move forward. It's not that it doesn't hurt. Like the times that they've reached out to me for The Voice to have me audition for it, to then be like, no, we don't want you, to then reach out to me again like 2 weeks or 3 weeks later and be like, we heard you want to audition. I'm like, didn't you just tell me you don't want me to? And then I do it again. And then they're like, we don't want you. And it's like this really weird thing.
This cycle.
Yeah, that's also fucked up.
Mm.
And it just like fucks with you,
It
even
does.
no matter how strong you are. And I will say this, like, the more that I do work in identity and understanding what that means, the more that I'm focused on it and the way that we show up in the world and the sense of belonging that we're supposed to have. I don't know if this is for everyone. I definitely am feeling it for myself, but and I think I heard this in your episode, we place emphasis on other people's approval a lot of times by, did you get the role? Or did you get on The Voice? Or did the meeting take it to the next place?
Right.
Because those are real things. Like that's momentum inside of itself. Like, I'm getting this extra thing. I'm getting this validation, or I'm going to get paid for something. All these things that in some part are validating. But at the end of the day, like, if we didn't exist in the world that we exist in today, it doesn't dilute or take away from the fact that you're a talented person, or you have this skill, or you have this special thing about you. And I think that as we lead into the world, where you had mentioned one time in the episode about people, like, I forget how you said it, but it was almost like around dreaming and like not giving up on what you believe, and like not just being powerful enough to push forward.
Don't let someone who gave up on their dreams talk you out of yours.
That type of idea. Like, even inside of that, don't let someone else do this to you. Like, we put so much emphasis on other people. I think we have to get back to ourselves.
Mm.
And I'm saying that because, like, hello, like, I'm gonna go, hey, everybody, yes, I'm sitting here in a freezing cold room. I haven't warmed up my voice. There's not a lot of people that can do that, what I just did. But, like, not a lot of people can do that. And I think I'm learning that more as I get older. Like, I have this really amazing thing about me. If the voice doesn't want me, like, sorry, okay, cool. That's not my place. And if, I put shit out online and people aren't enthused by it the way that they are by other people who don't have that vocal ability, okay. But I'm not going to live my life questioning my talent. May not show up in the world the way that I wanted it to, but I'm no longer going to question that. And I think that there's a lot of that inside of what you were talking about that also connects back to something else that I really believe in, which is vision. You talked about this, the I see, or you got to see to receive and all that. And even as a child, you were talking about, like, envisioning things, and then you got the magazine or whatever, but you didn't get the Oscar yet or whatever.
Yet.
I think that we sometimes, with vision, we do create too much of an image, a picture of what something's supposed to be. Even in the way that you, I think with this meeting last week, you had a picture of what the next steps were going to look like.
Right.
If you remove the picture and you get to the energy and you get to the feeling that's around things, I think it really opens up doors. I think it makes us lighter. I think it allows us to exist in the world better when we aren't just so fixated on the way something's supposed to be specifically and the way it's supposed to look. That's expectations.
Right.
That's control. You talked a little bit about a control in here too, things that we can control and we can't. I don't even know if you necessarily said it that explicitly, but I heard you talking about that level of control. I think you might have said something I can control, but those are expectations and control. And when we remove the picture of how something's specifically supposed to be and we get into the energy of the feeling that we want to have from it, you can walk away from that meeting with pride. You could walk away from that meeting with confidence. You could walk away from that meeting with belief in yourself that you even got to that place.
Right.
And I know that doesn't make you feel great that it didn't go to where you thought it was going to be, but it sure is fucking awesome that you even had the opportunity to meet with some of these people, because some people don't ever have that.
Right. I said that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I do. I really feel like you had that moment of your own therapy, which was lovely, and we felt the resolve. So I hope that, people listen through to hear that, because I think that's where the reward is for people. And I think when I listened to your episode, you had a good intention around it, not to just sit here and listen to yourself and, like, have that therapeutic moment, even though that is part of it. But you were talking about how someone needs to hear this because maybe it could help them. I just hope that people get to the point where they feel the resolve, because that's what we all need. We all need the resilience to be able to.
The goal is they listen to the whole episode.
Huh?
The goal is they listen from start to finish.
Yeah, but some people don't.
Well, hopefully everyone did listen all the way through, because that is what happened this week. That's how I was feeling. And it's been a week. It's not always just sunshine and roses and laughing. Sometimes life kicks you in the balls.
That's true. Laughter is the best medicine, they say.
Well, then tell me a joke.
I don't know if I can tell you a joke right now, but the fact that you can laugh through even the shit is important.
And look, I mean, the right doors will open when the right doors are meant to open, and you just got to keep striving forward.
Yeah, and how fun will it be to look back on this episode and
like,
laugh about it then? So laugh now.
And, well, it's like I said, something will open. I'll be like, thank God that didn't happen,
right,
because something else came, and it will all work out the way it is supposed to work out.
Yeah, you said that one thing where you were like, people are like, oh, it's meant to be. And I loved how you were like, I don't know. But the thing where you were like, it's
like when people go, everything happens for a reason. It's kind of like,
oh, that's what it is.
I hate when people say that, because why did that happen? But it's like everything happens in its right timing.
Yeah.
So you just have to believe and keep striving forward that it will all happen when it's meant to happen.
Keep reframing. Keep moving forward. Maybe you can come up with some new saying. Maybe it's like the reframe for the Redirection.
reframe for the redirection for the rejection. I really thought I really in that moment was like, did I just come up with this? I was so proud of myself.
No, I know. You listening, you can tell.
Super unfortunate. Well, all right, it's time to go get ready. We're off to Mexico. I think I'm ready for a cocktail on the beach.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I might even have one on the plane this time.
Well, about fucking time.
I know.
All right, everyone. I will see you next Tuesday.